Folks, welcome back to another edition of Kickin' It with Tim and the Mechanic. I'm Tim, joined as always by the Mechanic Brandon Cuttino. How are you doing today, sir?
Doing good, man. Talking some kickboxing with you, so you know it's a beautiful day.
Man, and we got some stuff going on. We're going to be talking Glory 81, breaking down some of the bigger fights on the Glory 81 card. We're going to be talking about transitioning from kickboxing to MMA, who did it right, who did it wrong, all that good stuff. But you're kind of joining us from a hotel room. You're in the nitty-gritty. You're down in the community. What's going on in the martial arts world?
Yeah, man. Just this past weekend, I was at a grappling tournament down here in Wildwood, New Jersey. It's kind of big tournament that we like to call Battle at the Beach. So I was just coaching some students of mine, some adults on Saturday and some kids on Sunday. Good day for us. Got some medals, had some people have their first experience. So I mean, it was pretty good. It's always a fun time. And then plus two, after that, you can always just either just go to the beach afterwards, or you can walk the boardwalk. So it's always a good time down here.
Oh, it's a beautiful experience, but that even puts you in the best position, as you are a career kickboxer who has tons of experience in things like grappling and ground sports and things like that, because we're going to be talking about transitioning. Some kickboxers did an amazing job transitioning to MMA, and some have struggled. I think there are some great fighters to emulate, but from your mind, from your memory, from your own perspective, no one is more authoritative on the subject than you. Who are some of the fighters who did a good job? What differences do you need to make of transitioning to kickboxing to MMA? Like, it's a massive subject that will really bite into here. But yeah, start us off, Mr. Cuttino.
One person who really right now you want to say did a good job of it is Dustin Jacoby, who's now in the UFC. A lot of people forget about him, probably because he's not really such a big name. But you got to remember, this guy started out in the UFC, kind of flamed out. Then he just kind of picked up kickboxing. Like, didn't even know really about kickboxing until he got a whim about to come do a 8-man tournament, won that, and then next he joined Glory. I think he did pretty well there. He liked it, but then ever since like his contract was up with Glory, he transitioned back to MMA. He went right to the UFC, and he's undefeated so far in the UFC. So he's doing pretty good. Then of course you got the middleweight champion now in the UFC. Izzy, Adesanya, his movement as well. Even kind of like when you watch his kickboxing matches, the way how he was fighting in kickboxing is the same way kind of how he is in MMA. He's kind of the in and out. He has his distance, has his range. So he's doing pretty well. And then of course, now you got the guy who he's going to fight soon in November. That's Alex Pereira, former double champ in Glory as well. Mm-hmm. He too has had some great success as well. But I mean, of course, there's a bunch of other people. Like say you had your Gabriel Vargas. You had your Robin Van Roosmalen too. He's done it as well. I think a lot of people forget because he's kind of been quiet lately. He's kind of taking a break. But he was having some success as well.
But there's a ton of good examples. Rafael Fiziev is the guy that I always like, man, this guy's doing so good. But it's funny. I think a lot of the guys that I always look to of like kickboxing to MMA, they weren't career kickboxers, but their style would make a kickboxer transition well to MMA. Like the examples that I want to, you threw out a bunch of amazing examples, and I want to throw back to you like Lyoto Machida and Jose Aldo of like, there's a certain ingredient in every like Israel, in Vargas, in Jose, in Lyoto Machida that makes their style work. And it's distance, and it's distance control, it's angles, it's being elusive, picking your shots, all this stuff on paper. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Much easier said than done. I fully understand that. But yeah, someone like Israel wasn't a very clinch inside kickboxer. He was always blocking by moving his feet before his hands were the last line of defense. Now, if you were a guy like Gokhan Saki, where your hands are a little bit more, this is my first line of defense because I'm doing a modified peekaboo style for kickboxing, that won't transition very well to MMA. Am I wrong in saying this?
Nah, you're right. You're right, because also too, I remember too the way how your hands are too. If somebody is going in for a takedown as well, so if your hands are up real high, you are kind of open, for the takedown or for the grapple exchanges.
Oh, absolutely. So, for example, if you're blocking an uppercut in a kick sport, in a striking sport, you might slip, you might parry, you might lean back to dodge it. But in MMA, if you do any of those things, you will leave yourself open to a takedown. So you might have made the wrong choice there. Whereas in all of those sports, striking and MMA, if you moved your feet backwards to block an uppercut, it was always the right decision. So that's why guys like Israel Adesanya, I feel like, have had a massive advantage. Now, anytime on the show that we can talk about Lyoto Machida, I'm quite happy. He was so elusive. He was in and out. I feel like him and Jose Aldo was a little bit more of a freak of nature in like he had the perfect stance, that he knew how to block takedowns, but he still had a major advantage that he was more athletic than like any of these guys. And he had an amazing takedown defense. Lyoto Machida, I'll point to as like, he is an athletic freak, but he's also a little bit more, you can really see that style coming through. You don't have to be an athletic freak to emulate what Lyoto Machida was doing. Am I wrong in thinking that? Is that offensive to some people? You know what I mean? Like, is that bang on?
Not like, so like when you bring up Lyoto Machida, I think of also somebody like a Raymond Daniels, a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and also too was it a Michael Venom Page? You know, they both kind of have, they're both literally from the point style karate, where they're kind of just in and out, keeping their distance. You know, they're using their jabs to kind of keep that feint, and also they're using their lead leg. You know, to again judge the distance and to kind of set things up. So I mean, with those forwards, like say, like you gotta be athletic. You know, like saying, you see Raymond Daniels, you know, he made the switch to MMA. You know, he did have some success. You know, with it. Same thing with Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You see him. You know, he made it to be a top 5 welterweight in the world. And then you talk about Lyoto Machida. He was a champion. You know, and MVP. He's even fought for a title, so he was a title challenger. So I mean, again, you take all these elements, of kickboxing or karate, stand up, and you see these guys who really take it, and they apply it to help them in MMA as well. So like saying, like, the running joke for some people is right now, the best base for MMA is kickboxing, or you say glory kickboxing, because you see how well Adesanya's doing, Pereira's doing, Dustin Jacoby's doing, you got like you said, Basib doing well and everything like that. So it's kind of funny to see these kickboxers having so much success in the world of mixed martial arts.
And it goes through trends. Whereas like 4 or 5 years ago, when we were watching guys like Khabib and Daniel Cormier, I would have said like even going back to Matt Hughes, like top position control, ground and pound, that is the style for MMA. Now, a few years on, we're to like almost every major champion in organizations is not a wrestling base. They are like a kickboxing base or a striking base in some form. But it's not as easy as like, oh yeah, just distance control, angle out, all that stuff, because it's very hard to apply a lot of kickboxing tactics to a sideless cage with no corners. Like, I don't think Rico Verhoeven would transition well to MMA. Am I wrong in saying that I don't think his style would translate very well? His style is meant to counter the kickboxing that he came up through, the 2 generations he went through, but I don't know if he would do well in an octagon. Yeah.
I mean, I don't really know, because I want to say he does have an MMA fight on his record, and I want to say he's 1-0. He could be 2-0. I'm not sure if he had 2 fights or not. But I actually don't know. Yeah, I know he does have 1 win for sure, because I know that was a thing too, where a few years ago they were trying to lure him to leave kickboxing and to go into MMA, but he decided to stick around and represent kickboxing and stay in the kickboxing sport. So I mean, you kind of don't know. Like, you don't know if he maybe would have changed his style, or maybe he could have been like Alex Pereira, where you kind of look at his style, Alex Pereira's style is really still more suited for kickboxing, but he's doing well in the world of MMA, right now.
Yeah, and that's a fair point. Also, what a like superb way to curb someone's argument of like, I don't think Rico would do well in MMA, and you're like, he's already won a fight, you idiot. And it wasn't even that long ago. It was 7 years back, which is not insane. But yeah, just kind of skipping through the fight now. I mean, the guy stood. Rico got a takedown.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I mean, MMA is an insane sport where you're like, yeah, Sanshao will never work. And then a bunch of guys show up and are like, man, maybe Sanshao is where it's at. I was like, it just goes through trends of like, sometimes this stuff works really well. The meta will change in this sport because there's so many moving parts in this sport where like you and I are saying this today. In 2 years, this might be irrelevant of like, no, that style is terrible for MMA. I'm embarrassed for you guys for saying that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it could be the next 2 years where we're like boxing is the way to go now, where everybody just having boxing success, or it could be where jiu-jitsu comes back again, or it's going to be sambo, it's going to be like, oh, hey, you think it's sambo now. So I mean,
and it was for a while. Everyone was like, "Man, combat sambo is the only thing you need to train for this sport," and then that kind of faded away.
Yeah,
Man, I'm going to show off my shirt here, but look at those damn shoulders on Brandon Cuttino. I am envious of those shoulders. Ridiculous. Were you just working out like 8 minutes ago?
Nah, man, I wish, but nah.
Is it just you naturally? Get out of here,
I'm just happy to be here, man. That's all.
Awesome stuff. All right, Mr. Cuttino, let's move on to our. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Actually, there's something else I kind of just want to bring up. Like, I know I'm kind of throwing a curveball at you, but it's something that we did talk about, and it's going to go into kind of our later subject when we talk about Glory 81. But the thing we talk about kickboxers going to MMA. But the thing is, I guess, is why do you think that is? You know, like, because we kind of were talking about that. Like, why do you think that is? Where you got so many people who were successful in kickboxing, but now it seems like they might even want to try to dip their toes in MMA, you know?
Is it as simple as saying it's just money? Like Alex Pereira, Glory was saying like it has been his dream for his whole life to fight in MMA. And I always, like, man, he was from Brazil. MMA was easier to get into than kickboxing. He had to go out of his way to stay in kickboxing rather than MMA. So like, but maybe that's true. Maybe it's always been his dream that he always wanted to be an MMA fighter and a UFC champion. Is it as simple as it's just money? There's more money in MMA, or is it the more like Bas Rutten? I asked him, why didn't you continue in kickboxing when you were a Dutch kickboxer who knew no submissions? Why were you participating in a submission sport? And he was like, it lit a fire under me when I did it. And like, it just felt like a very pure style of martial arts where like, there's so many moving parts here. What do you think? Is it as simple as money?
So that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people always like to throw that out, but it's like, to me, it can't be that, because that, to me, the only way you say it's money is if you're in an Alex Pereira situation where it's like you're going straight from Glory to the UFC, you know, where you got somebody like a Murto Grunhard, like a Simon Marcus. They're on the local scene. It's not like they went straight to a Bellator, you know, or a UFC and they're getting money like that. You know, like to me, these guys would make more money in Glory than in the local scene of doing MMA.
You would think so. Yeah, absolutely. Right.
You know, like, I mean, because I want to say even we're going to talk about Glory 81 later, but even the guy who's fighting Luis Tavares, I think he even said after this fight, his next fight is going to be in MMA.
Sergej Maslobojev wants to do MMA? That's insane.
Yeah, and it's like, wait, what? Like, dude, you're fighting for a title, and now you're gonna go do some MMA? Is like, because I think he said it in a interview. So it was just kind of crazy, you know.
Well, yeah. So he does have quite an extensive MMA record: 2006, a little bit 2009, 2012, and then took a massive break to do kickboxing. 2019, he had another MMA fight. His record's quite good in MMA, actually. And then he transitioned like pretty much full-time kickboxing, and it's worked out really well. Sergej Maslobojev is an amazing fighter. He's super talented.
Because I believe he's going to fight in KSW. I think is where he's supposed to be fighting at for his MMA fight. I think it's supposed to be KSW, which I get. Okay, KSW, big promotion in Poland. Yes. I'm sure they could probably use his name. You know, he could probably make some money that way too. I can understand, but to me, I just think with when I see somebody like say a Murto Grunhard, even like a Cedric Doumbé, you know, yes, he is going to be in the UFC Paris card, you know, but
maybe he wasn't approved. He wasn't approved by the commission apparently, so I don't know what's going on with that. But
but just saying though, like, you know, his first two fights were in the local scene, and it's just like, to me, it's just like how much were you really getting there? But then again, maybe if it was a local scene, you have a name in Paris or wherever it is you're fighting, like in Belgium or whatever. So maybe they're using your kickboxing name to, maybe they will give you more money like that. But to me, it's just like, I would just think that you would get more money in kickboxing. But the thing again with kickboxing is you really don't know how much people are getting paid. Like, that's the thing. And we had this talk about, you know, lifestyles in Europe could be different than lifestyles in America, North America. Like, say, you know, I'm watching Benjamin Adegbuyi get himself a new BMW, but maybe over there a BMW is a dime a dozen, while here in the U.S. and North America, a BMW is a luxury car. You know, so that's one of the things, because even I think Vahitov even said in the interview, like, hey, maybe I'll go to the UFC, and it's like, wait, bro, like, what? But again, though, is it though that he can try to dangle that carrot because he has a win over Alex Pereira? So he can then try to be like, oh, hey, I'm on an Alex Pereira, track where you can just kind of slide me in. I get some money, and then we try to build up a big fight here in in MMA from our kickboxing days. So it's just weird to me.
Well, before I jump into the big subject that was mentioned, Vakitov in the UFC light heavyweight division, pretty much any pretty talented fighter, I think right now, if you're in that, that's the right size for you, you could really take that division by storm, because it is you could cut this division from the UFC and I wouldn't care all that much. I'm like, Vakitov probably could do some destruction in that division. Like, he could probably be a top 5 guy with a few favorable matchups. Like, imagine him at Jamal Hill. Come on, I like Jamal Hill, but
yeah, that's the same fight. I mean, the only person he would have to worry about is probably
Ankalaev, maybe Ankalaev. What about Krylov has been around forever submitting guys. He's pretty good. Now he's a stand-up fighter. So this is the thing of there's some fun matchups with favorable matchups. He could be a top 10, top 5 pretty easily. But the big subject is of maybe it's pay, but a lot of guys just like MMA more. Like Boss Rutan was for perspective, the greatest kickboxing was going on just down the block. And he was a kickboxing fighter. And he was still like, no, I'm going to do Pancrase. It's less money. There's less viewers on it. I don't know any submissions, but I like this sport more. You know what I mean? Of sometimes it's just, that's what you guys want to do, right? Am I wrong in thinking that?
I mean, for me, so a lot of people like we talked about earlier, say, I'm down here I coach jiu-jitsu and everything like that. To me, I tell people hey, I train MMA, I teach MMA, I love MMA, but just for me, competition wise, I just compete professionally in kickboxing, but I love it all. I'm just a combat sports fan. Yes. But to me, it's that's just how I am. And people ask me oh, hey, would you ever do MMA? And I say I did think about it, but to me, I think I just think about how the fight would be and how I want the fight to be. It's just well, I just want to stand up anyway. I'm not really trying to go to the ground. If it goes there, yeah, I'm cool with it, but I probably would just rather stand up. So why not? And then I guess in my head too, I'm just there's not that many Americans in kickboxing, so that's why I try to be oh, I want to try to blow it up. Make it big in America. I could be that star, but that's just me in my head,
Fighters, that is the unsaid thing with every fighter of no, I will be Floyd Mayweather. I will be Conor McGregor. That's part of why I'm not a professional fighter. I got beat up and I was oh, I'm probably never going to make it. Fighters don't have that of I got beat up, I'm still the greatest kind of thing. But
I'm sorry. I was gonna say that's kind of one why I feel I kind of like Badr Hari. I like Badr Hari. I really like Badr Hari like for the things he says. Sometimes when he's passionate about something, I get behind it. I remember there's one thing too where he talked about kickboxing being the greatest sport, and he goes he's basically telling people, no, why do I have to come to your sport? No, come to my sport. You want to fight me, come to kickboxing. Because that's how it is. People trying to get these boxing fights, go hang out with a boxer, but it's no, come to my sport. We're the best. That's the thing. You never hear anybody say oh, hey, I want to do a kickboxing fight. It's either boxing or oh, hey, fight me in MMA. It's yo, why do you want to do a kickboxing fight? You got your hands and your feet. Don't get knocked out.
Things have reversed so much because at first, during the golden age, the combat sports boom of Japan, they were using kickboxing to promote MMA. They were hey, can you guys please, we'll do a Pride K1 shockwave of please, we got some kickboxers. Can you guys watch MMA? It's really fun. Things reversed. And even at the time, kickboxing was attracting MMA fighters because UFC champions during 97, 98, UFC champions were relinquishing their title to fight in K1 because it was a better title. It was a more prestigious title. I forget the guy's name, but he definitely participated in the 98 Grand Prix. If it's no, I'm not going to be a UFC champion. I don't care about that. I'm going into kickboxing. Even Ray Mercer at one point, guys I want to say Mighty Mo may have started out in boxing as well. But Ray Mercer, Mighty Mo, yeah. All these guys have they were boxers like Ray Mercer and guys like this. And they were I'm just going to try kickboxing because it's the sport right now. There was a time in history where kickboxing was the sport. It was attracting boxers, MMA fighters, everyone, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially back in that time in Japan, man. K1 days, man. That's why to me, everybody knows K1.
it was the name. It was the fighting thing. Pride, like as much as you and I obviously love Pride, K1 was the show in town. It was the bigger show consistently. Maurice Smith was the guy I was thinking of, by the way.
I remember when he went to Bellator and he was hanging out there for a bit. Short guy for heavyweight. I think he was like 5'6" or something like that.
Super talented fighter too. Like he's just jumping around from all the sports. Sam Greco-Mac. Yeah, I forget who else, but yeah, there was definitely other UFC fighters who were just like, yeah, no, let's go to K1. That's where it's at, and that was fairly normalized, fairly common. Ray Mercer tried it once, got kicked in the head, and that was more than enough. And I get it. So I want to say, like at that time, I think people just wanted to test themselves in kickboxing more than it was just money. I think that's fair to say, but there was also some other weird underground stuff of like, who was the you see it on highlights all the time. Who was the sumo wrestler who tried one kickboxing fight?
Oh man, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, he was an American, but yeah, he like as much as we talk about like he just wanted to test himself in kickboxing, there was some weird Yakuza stuff going on between like he was forced to take a fight, pay off some stuff. Sometimes there's stuff underground, which like I am of no authority to comment on, but yeah, we'll find his name in a bit. It'll come up. It'll come back.
Because I remember too, like that's another thing too, where people. I know some people like on another show I was talking about like maybe like reason why people leave kickboxing is because of the maybe shadiness or the business practices that is going on behind the scenes that might make one people leave. Like for instance, like again we got to bring it up, but the whole thing with Peter Wurzik, he got let go by Glory. The next he's signing with KSW. He left kickboxing completely. Because we maybe would have thought he would have went to one or something like that, but instead he's like nah. I'm gonna do MMA. I'm going to KSW. But then you look at other people who are coming back to kickboxing like Alistair Overeem.
Yes, of course.
So I mean, like it like to me, it does have his ebbs and flows. Like I said, maybe we might get some more people that will come back to kickboxing, but we'll see. Because even I remember, like I say, like we brought this up before, but even like somebody like a Anthony Pettis, like when he became a free agent, I really thought like kickboxing would have been his thing. Like he was a Taekwondo black belt. He liked standing up. I'm like, kickboxing. Glory, let's get him or one or somebody. But just didn't happen. So I mean I don't know if people just aren't thinking about it. Like it's just kind of not on the radar to go from MMA back to kickboxing to keep it standing. Instead everybody's going to bare knuckle. But
man, yeah, get out of here. So Akebono Taro, Yokozuna Akebono Taro. I should have he's one of the greatest sumo wrestlers in history. Should have been able to remember off the top of my head. But another example of like maybe going back to kickboxing a bit is one championship's recent signing of the KSW double champion, the Croatian southpaw RoboCop. He said, like, I wanted to go to one because they offered Muay Thai and kickboxing in addition to MMA, and I wanted to do those things. Roberto Soljic is excited to fight in one because he could potentially do kickboxing, and that's a super cool thing. That's a great prospect, right?
Yeah, man. That is like say like we get these people like we talked about or we talk about using kickboxing to promote MMA, but it's usually sometimes it seems like one. That's what one does. Like they kind of use kickboxing to promote MMA. But like, oh, hey, we got some kickboxing. It's like, oh, we talk MMA, but we really got the kickboxing fights that people come for, and then you guys just stay after and just watch our MMA.
And I do love the model because I like Rod Tang, and they're just like, hey, can you guys come watch our MMA while you're here? If you guys haven't seen Rod Tang fight, you need to see this guy, and it works. Like I was at the when I was at the O2, I was like, I talked to one guy in the street, and I was like, oh yeah, MMA I cover the UFC. I really actually cover one is my primary thing, and he was like, oh yeah, man, Rod Tang's awesome. So it's working. That model does actually work. And then I mean, one championship, people can complain about it all they want. They got some awesome fights going on. They got some awesome kickboxing fights. They got some awesome Muay Thai fights going on. Just like my favorite thing. You know what I mean?
Is it? That's what we love. We love Muay Thai. We love kickboxing here on Kickin It.
All right, let's move forward on to Glory 81 event coming up in a couple of weeks, August 20th. Let's start with the main event and work our way down. Jamal Ben Saddik and Benjamin Adegbuyi will be facing off in a heavyweight title eliminator to fight Antonio Plazabot later this year for an interim title. What are your thoughts on this matchup? There's a lot of moving strings on this match where we have to talk about all the outside stuff going on. But what are your initial thoughts? Maybe just the fight itself, and then we can get to the other weird stuff.
I mean, like I said, I am like we all know, I'm a Benjamin Adegbuyi fan, so I'm rocking with Benjamin Adegbuyi for this fight. Like I said, to me, I go with again, kickboxing math, it's always different. But my thing is this, right? Jamal Ben Saddik has lost to Rico Verhoeven 2 times in a row. Benjamin Adegbuyi trains with Rico Verhoeven. They're all on the same team. They have the same coach. So you think that, to me, they have the game plan. Again, now, the last time they fought, yes, was at a tournament final. You can say that Benjamin Adegbuyi did have the harder road, you know, but again, though, but then you hear that Jamal Ben Saddik fought him with a broken arm and still knocked him out. So it's like, yeah, one of those things. But hey, though, but this time it's like, say, hey, you know, they're both fresh. They're both coming down on the fight. Jamal Ben Saddik is at a different gym now because now he trains at Mike's gym, you know, because I think before when they fought he wasn't at Mike's gym at that time, but now he is. So I mean, you never know, they could have maybe changed some things up for him. So either way, I think it's still gonna be an interesting fight. I'm still gonna rock with Benny. I know Benny kind of can be you know, he can kind of fall to a hard shot, but I mean, he's still a tough dude. Like, you know, because I remember he did get rocked against Badahari, but then he came back and stopped Badahari. So I'm gonna still rock with Benny. I just think too, he's the more technical fighter. I think he does have the speed advantage as well, but of course, Jamal Ben Saddik, the Goliath, does have that power advantage.
Yeah, it's just a crisscross at heavyweight of like, this guy's already fought this guy trains with this guy already has done this, all that stuff. Jamal Ben Saddik packs a punch. He packs a ton of power and is a hard fight for anyone. He's going to have a major height advantage. Actually, that's how tall Benjamin Adegbuyi is. It's like Jamal Ben Saddik only has a slight height advantage in this fight, but he is a towering fighter with a ton of power. Both of these guys are a little bit older than they ever have been before, and kind of, I think that we're going to see that evidence in that fight, but I think this is just going to be, do we know if this is 5 rounds or 3 rounds, actually?
3 rounds. I think they only do 5 rounds for title fights.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's going to be a 3-round fight, so maybe cardio won't be a massive issue in this fight. I want to pick Benjamin Adegbuyi because if you're training with Rico Verhoeven, I feel like you must have a great understanding of how to beat Jamal Ben Saddik. That's the best training partner you could possibly have. But then we get into weird stuff of like Jamal Ben Saddik trains with Antonio Plazabot. Plazabot says he doesn't want to bother fighting him. Benjamin Adegbuyi trains with Rico Verhoeven. I'm not sure if he can beat Plazabot. Yeah, it's a weird thing. Plazabot had said, like, Levi Ridkers is on the same card as me. Why not just Levi? Like, I don't want to fight either of these guys, is what he said, because he's already beat Benjamin Adegbuyi as well.
Yeah.
So Plazabot's in a weird position where, like, I trained with one guy. I've already beat one guy. This is a weird fight for me, is what he kind of told me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't blame him because I just thought about that too. As I was talking about Jamal Ben Saddik, I was like, yeah, he's at Mike's gym. But I was like, wait, so is Plazabot. So if Jamal Ben Saddik wins, he's gonna have teammates fight each other, which I'm sure nobody really wants to do. But then again, the title's on the line, so maybe they might make an exception for that. But then anyway, we talked about it before with Benjamin Adegbuyi. He's scheduled to already fight on another show October 8th as well. So who knows if he wins, if he's even going to be there anyway, you know? So, I mean, it's kickboxing, baby.
So Benjamin Adegbuyi was the one who gave us the most clear message of like, if I have to fight Rico again, my training partner, I will fight him. No doubt. I will fight him again. But then he's also scheduled for another fight. So there's always something weird going on. Anyway, you're picking Benny. I'll pick Jamal Ben Saddik in this one. But let's get to the like, I know we're excited for this fight because it's going to be a technical kickboxing kind of masterclass kind of fight. Luis Tavares and Sergej Maslobojev will be fighting for the vacant light heavyweight title. Man, this is a great fight. Sergej Maslobojev is such a hard fight for any fighter, I think, in the sport. He's frustrating to fight against. What do you see in this matchup? Who do you have walking out as the new champion?
I do like this fight. Honestly, like, I am a big Benjamin Adegbuyi fan, but I really feel like I'm really looking forward to this fight maybe the most, just because, you know, like I say, I do like how both guys fight. And, you know, I like how they're both different, but I just like how they are. I think this should be a good fight. You know, this could have potential to be fight of the night, in my opinion. Like I say, you know, Tavares, man, slick. You know, he got slick movement. He got some good boxing. You know, he does have knockout power as well. But, you know, even his opponent as well, man, he got knockout power as well. He has some flying knees. You know, he has some flying techniques that he can do. I mean, I've been rocking with Luis Tavares since like Glory 9 out here, so I'm gonna keep rocking with him again. I think he's been on you know, a tour for this belt. Like I said, he was supposed to have that title fight a while back, but he passed up on it. So I just think this is just his time to shine.
I agree with you. I'm picking Luis Tavares all day, and I fully recognize how talented Sergej Maslobojev is. This is why it makes it so good. I think Luis Tavares is going to rise to the occasion. He's been on a revenge tour. He's also saying all the right things that you want to hear from a world champion. I don't have a huge technical breakdown on this, but just like he's saying the right things of I'm going to take the title, and then I'm going to fight Artem Vakatov again. Like that is the fight that I want. I still want revenge. He's saying all the right things to just make me excited. Luis Tavares all day. We're all rocking with Luis Tavares. He is the guy. For the middleweight title, Donovan Wisse will be defending his title against a debutant in glory here. This is going to be De Sousa from Portugal making his debut in glory. Do we have any hard-hitting analysis on this one, or are we just kind of both picking the guy that we like? I don't know. I don't know the debuting fighter very well.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just like, man, where does this guy come from, and why is he getting a title shot? You know, it's like I don't know anything about him, so I don't know if it, like I said, I'm not going to discredit him or anything like that. Like say, you know, he has to be somebody, you know, in order for him to get a title shot. Yeah. You know, trying to see if I can.
Juri De Sousa, I mean, half of his fights have been won by KO. Yeah, he's ready to give it his all saying all the right things. Love that kind of stuff.
I mean, like say, he has 43 wins, 20 of them are by knockout. So, I mean, the man does, you know, he must have some pop in there. You know, where basically like half your fights, you know, you have won by knockout or stoppage, you know. But I mean, Donovan Wisse, man, he just, you know, he's a problem. He's young, he's hungry. Dude's an athlete, man. He got hands, he got feet, got good combinations. You know, I'm just gonna go with and still.
Absolutely. All day. Donovan Wisse all day. I don't have to sell this to anybody. Come on, Donovan Wisse all day. What about the heavyweight fight? We have a top-ranked heavyweight in Sihad Kepanek going to be fighting Nordine Mahadine. What do you think of this one?
I'm going with oh wow. I'm like, man, he's one in. Yeah, he's got his opponent. His opponent is 1-2 in glory. Okay. You know, let's see. Yeah, I think he has 0 knockouts. You know, so I'm saying if you're a heavyweight, you don't got any knockouts. Does that mean you don't got any pop in your hands? Like, what's going on with that? You know, actually, no. Well, that's in glory, but no. But he does have 21 wins, but 15 of them are by knockout. So you know what he does have some pop. I guess, you know, it's just he just haven't had a chance because, you know what? This is so funny. This is why I thought about this fight. Yeah, because he fought Mahadine before at Glory 74. His last fight was against Mahadine, so they're just running it back.
Man, and there's so many good guys at heavyweight. There's so many other guys that could have paired them with.
Like that's why, I think that's why when I saw this, I was like, wait, like I'm like, well, why does this guy look familiar? And then again, I just clicked on it. I'm like, yeah, like they ran it back at Glory 74 on the undercard, which he lost by split decision actually. So I mean, it wasn't a close fight. So, but I'm gonna go with Nordine to get the job done again. You know, I just think he's the better fighter. But
yes,
you know,
I'll co-sign with all of that. I completely agree with you. And then fighting in a title eliminator for Tejani Beztadi's lightweight title, you're going to have number 1 versus number 2 at lightweight. Stoyan Koprivlinski versus Garrick Belay. This is a high stakes fight. This is a very high-stakes technical fight. I'm surprised it's this low on the card, but, you know, it is what it is. What did you see in this matchup? Who gets the title shot next?
I mean, this is a good fight. I mean, dude, like, I want to make sure I don't butcher his name, but Koprivlinski Koprivlinski is actually the number 1 lightweight.
Yeah,
I've been a fan of his, man. Like, to me, man, dude, like, I think his nickname is the sniper because he's quick. He does have good accuracy. But Garrick Belay is just on a tear right now, man. He's rolling through guys. So I'm actually gonna go with Garrick Belay. I think Belay is gonna get the job done. Like I said, he is turning on. And yeah, I want to say too. I think Garrick Belay also too has the conditioning because like I say because usually with Koprivlinski he actually fights at a high pace. But he can tire out. Like, he can tire out, like, during the second, third round. Because in that first round, he's going all out. Same thing in the second round, he's going all out as well. Because, like I said, he's doing these combinations. He's getting his speed on. But I think Garrick Belay can weather the storm. And then I think he can take over in the second and third round.
No way. I'm picking Stoyan Kopylewski all day long. I got my Balkan brother there. I'm not picking against him at all. He's a flurrying fighter. He's a sniper fighter. I'm down for Stoyan all day long. All right, let's get out of here. Anything else we need to cover off? Make sure to check out Fighters First from the Fighters First shop. You got Cuttino and Kickin It exclusive wear. Shout out who you need to shout out, Mr. Cuttino.
Yeah, no, man. Hey, guys, again, I just want to thank you all, man, for keep watching our show, man, for keep giving us the views. Man, remember, share it. Like I said, we're trying to grow this kickboxing community, and let us and let us know. And like I said, I keep telling you guys, let us know what you want us to talk about on the show. Like I said, yeah. I know we do got some people that wanted to hear us talk about infusion. We just don't have anything coming up right now until like
September. It's a little way.
So we're kind of taking a break, but don't worry, man. Infusion is on the radar. I got my eyes on Infusion too. I'm a big Infusion fan as well, so we will talk about it. And then of course, man, this last thing is always, man, Robbie Timmers, baby, I'm here. Let me know. All right, I told you, October 8th, November 19th. I'm here for it. Any 70 kilograms, man. I don't care. Any 154 pounder, they can get it, man. Let me know. It doesn't have to be Muhammad Jaraya. I just said his name because I knew you guys were looking for an opponent for him. But hey, if he's not the guy, you guys need a new dancing partner for somebody else, I'm there, man. All right, just let me know.
Awesome stuff, Mr. Cuttino. Hugely appreciate your time. Best of luck getting home today, and we'll talk to you soon, eh?
All right.